There is a country at the edge of the world, where cliffs rise 1,000 feet straight from the sea, where the sun refuses to set in summer and the stars burn without interruption through months of winter darkness. This is Norway. Today, we are not here as tourists. We are here to understand what it truly means to live in Norway, season by season, region by region, from Arctic fishing villages to the harbour streets of Oslo. Stay with us. What you are about to discover will change the way you see the world. Let us begin in Oslo. The capital sits at the head of the Oslofjord, a wide, quiet bay stretching 60 kilometers from the sea. It is a city of contrasts, modern glass towers reflecting ancient forests, bicycle lanes cutting between centuries-old buildings, a harbour where ferries and kayaks share the same cold, clear water. And yet, even here, in the largest city in the country, no one is ever more than 20 minutes from a forest trail or a lakeside swimming spot. That balance between civilization and wilderness is not accidental. It is the defining characteristic of Norwegian life. Norway stretches nearly 2,000 kilometers from its southern tip near Kristiansand, where the coastline flattens and the summers are warmest, all the way to the Arctic wilderness of Nordkapp, a long, thin country shaped by fjords, mountains and ancient forests, a nation with a population smaller than many individual cities elsewhere in the world. And yet, by almost every measure of human development, Norway is among the finest places on earth to live. High incomes, free healthcare, free education, low crime, clean air. But statistics only tell part of the story. The real story of Norway lives in the details, in the way people greet their neighbours, in the smell of bread baking on a Sunday morning, in the silence of a frozen lake at dusk in February, in the laughter rising from a mountain cabin when the whole family has gathered and there is nowhere else any of them need to be. Today, we are going to walk through that life, chapter by chapter, place by place, until you understand not just what Norway looks like, but what it truly feels like to call it home. To understand the people of Norway, you must first understand the land they come from. Few countries on earth are shaped as completely, or as dramatically, by their geography. Start in the south. In cities like Stavanger on the southwestern coast, the landscape is relatively gentle. Rolling hills, wide bays, sheltered inlets where fishing boats drift in the morning fog. The climate here is mild by Norwegian standards, warmed by the Gulf Stream sweeping in from the Atlantic. But move north, and everything deepens. The fjords appear first near Bergen, that ancient harbour city on the western coast, wrapped in 7 hills and near permanent rain. Bergen is the gateway to what many consider the most spectacular scenery on earth: the Hardanger Fjord, the Sognefjord, the Norøy Fjord. These are not simply scenic features on a map. They are living corridors of ice-cold water plunging hundreds of meters below the surface, flanked by walls of rock that rise straight out of the sea. The Sognefjord alone stretches over 200 kilometers inland, the longest and deepest fjord in Norway. Villages cling to its shores, connected to the outside world by ferry, by narrow mountain roads, and by a deep patience with isolation that is thoroughly Norwegian. Head above the Arctic Circle, and the terrain becomes something else entirely. The Lofoten Islands jut out of the Norwegian Sea like a row of jagged teeth. Steep peaks rise straight from the water. Their slopes are dotted with small red and yellow fishing cabins called robur, structures that have looked the same for centuries. In places like Svolvær and Henningsvær, the sea is not a backdrop. It is the center of everything: the salt in the air, the cry of Arctic birds, the silhouette of boats against a sky that burns pink and orange for hours on end. Further north still, Tromsø, the largest city above the Arctic Circle, a place of culture, universities and extraordinary natural light. And beyond that, Finnmark, the northernmost county in the country. And beyond even that, Svalbard, a remote archipelago floating in the Arctic Ocean, where polar bears outnumber people and glaciers creak slowly toward the sea. This geography is not simply beautiful, it is a force. It shapes what people eat, how they travel, how they build, when they sleep, and how they think about time itself. The seasons in Norway are not subtle changes, they are transformations. Summer brings a midnight sun that never fully sets. Winter brings a polar night that never fully lifts. In Tromsø, the sun does not rise above the horizon from November through January. In the same city, it does not set from May through July. Norwegians do not resist these extremes. They have built an entire culture around embracing them, and that is where the story of life in Norway truly begins. So, what does a typical day actually look like in Norway? In Trondheim, the medieval city in the heart of the country, home to one of Norway's great universities and a thriving engineering sector, the day begins early. The alarm sounds before 7. By past, children are already heading out of the door. Norwegian children often make the journey to school independently, on foot or by bicycle, from a surprisingly young age. A 7-year-old walking alone through a quiet neighborhood is not an unusual sight. It reflects a level of trust in the surrounding community that is deeply and deliberately embedded in Norwegian culture. Adults in cities like Trondheim and Stavanger typically commute by bicycle or public transport. In Oslo, more than a quarter of all daily journeys are made by bike, even in winter, even in snow. The Norwegian concept of friluftsliv, open-air life, is not a weekend pursuit. It is a daily practice. During lunch breaks, office workers in Oslo and across Norwegian cities pull on their coats and walk. Not to a restaurant, not to a cafe, simply outside, into the nearest park, beside the water, along a riverbank. Movement in fresh air is considered essential here, not a luxury, not a weekend event. A basic, non-negotiable part of the day. After school, Norwegian children have a freedom that is increasingly rare in the developed world. From Stavanger to Tromsø, children play outdoors until the light fades, and in summer, that can mean well past 9 in the evening. They climb rocks, they explore, they move through the world without the weight of structured scheduling. By early evening, families gather. The working day typically ends between 3:30 and 5. Over time, culture is rare. Evenings belong to the household, to dinner together, to a walk after eating, to sitting on the terrace if the evening allows. And here is where a particular Norwegian concept enters the picture: koselig. Often translated as cozy, it carries something deeper than that. Koselig is the art of creating warmth, comfort, and full presence in the moment. It might be candlelight on a dinner table in Oslo. It might be the crackle of a wood stove in a farmhouse outside Trondheim. It might simply be 3 generations sitting around a kitchen table after a meal, with no intention of being anywhere else. This is daily life in Norway. Not dramatic, not performative, but carefully, deliberately good. The homes of Norway tell their own story. In the cities, in Oslo and Bergen, the most common family home is the apartment. Norwegian apartments are compact but deliberately designed. Storage is abundant. Natural light is maximized through large windows and high ceilings. The connection between indoor space and the landscape outside, through open terraces and glass-fronted living rooms, is always carefully considered. Step outside the cities and the picture changes. In Ålesund, the Art Nouveau city on the western coast, built entirely across a cluster of islands in shades of cream, ochre and sage, the family home is typically a detached wooden house, a small garden, a terrace with a view of the sea, a boat tied up at the end of the street. In the valleys around Lillehammer, homes have been constructed in much the same tradition for hundreds of years. low roof lines, thick timber walls, turf roofs that insulate against winter cold and blend quietly back into the hillside. And then there is the Haiti. The Norwegian cabin deserves its own chapter. Roughly half of all Norwegian families own or have regular access to one. This is not a summer cottage that gathers dust between seasons. It is a living institution. On Friday afternoons, families load their cars and drive, often just an hour or two from the city, to a small, simple wooden cabin in the mountains, in the forests, or by the sea. There is no Wi-Fi, no television, no schedule. The Hitta weekend is sacred in Norwegian family life. Wood is chopped, fires are lit, meals are cooked slowly and eaten without rushing. Children disappear into the surrounding landscape and return muddy, tired, and thoroughly content. In mountain regions like Valdres, north of Oslo, cabin communities have existed across generations. Neighboring families know each other by name. Children grow up beside the same children they see at the cabin every winter and every summer. Family life in Norway is built around presence rather than performance. Parental leave is among the most generous in the world. Both mothers and fathers receive paid time off after a child is born, up to a full year shared between both parents. The expectation that a father will take significant leave is now entirely normal. Extended families remain close, grandparents are involved, and underpinning all of it is a trust in the systems that surround the family, in healthcare, in education, in the social safety net, that removes much of the low-grade anxiety that accompanies family life in many other parts of the world. To raise a family in Norway is, in many ways, to feel held. To understand Norwegian food, you must first understand Norwegian geography. This is a country of coastlines, of rivers dense with salmon, of cold, clean seas rich with cod, herring, halibut, and crab. Fish, in almost every form, forms the backbone of what people eat here. In Bergen, the fish market on the waterfront has operated for over 800 years. On any given morning, the stalls carry whole salmon, crab claws the size of a hand, fresh shrimp sold by the scoop, and skrei, the migratory Arctic cod that arrives off the Lofoten coast every winter and is considered among the finest eating fish anywhere in the world. Skrei season is an event in Norway. From January through April, restaurants across the country, from Svolvær in the Lofoten Islands to the finest dining rooms of Trondheim, celebrate its arrival with menus carrying centuries of tradition behind them. But Norwegian food culture reaches far beyond fish. Lamb from the western fjords, grass-fed on the high summer pastures. Elk and reindeer from the forests and tundra of the north. Game hunted in season, prepared simply, eaten with quiet reverence. In Røros, a UNESCO World Heritage mining town in central Norway, famous for its timber architecture and extraordinary cold winters, food culture is rooted in preservation. Cured meats, aged cheeses, root vegetables stored through the long, dark months. Brunost, the dense caramelized brown whey cheese, was born in mountain communities like these, a product of necessity that became inseparable from Norwegian identity. In Trondheim, restaurants have evolved dramatically in recent decades, building menus entirely from local ingredients and traditional preservation techniques with contemporary skill. Culture runs through music as deeply as through food. The hardanger fiddle, an 8-stringed instrument unique to Norway, has survived centuries of change. In the communities of the Hardanger Valley, this music is still played at weddings, at funerals, at gatherings spanning 3 and 4 generations. It is not simply preserved, it is alive. Norwegian literature carries equal weight. From Henrik Ibsen to contemporary voices with global audiences, the national relationship with the written word is serious and deep. Books are subsidized by the state. Libraries are well funded and well used. Reading is a cultural value, not merely a pastime. In the space between fish and fiddle music and the written word, you begin to see the outline of a culture that has always known exactly who it is. Few countries have navigated the paradox of sudden wealth as thoughtfully as Norway. In 1969, oil was discovered beneath the waters of the North Sea. Off the coast of Stavanger, until then a quiet fishing and canning town on the southwest coast, drillers struck the reserves that would transform not just Norway, but the global energy market. Rather than spending the oil revenue immediately, Norway created a sovereign wealth fund, the Oil Fund. Today, it holds over $1.5 trillion US, the largest of its kind in the world. Saving for future generations, rather than consuming in the present, reflects something fundamental about how Norwegians think about time and responsibility. The Norwegian workplace is built on a philosophy of flat hierarchy. In offices from Oslo to Bodø, a city in northern Norway reinventing itself as a hub for sustainable industry and Arctic logistics, the relationship between employer and employee is remarkably equal. Managers are accessible. Disagreement is encouraged. The idea of a single powerful figure commanding from above runs directly against the grain of Norwegian culture. The standard working week is 37.5 hours. 5 weeks of annual vacation is legally mandated, and the culture of actually taking it means that through July, much of the country slows to a deliberate, unhurried pace. This is not laziness. Norway's productivity per hour worked is among the highest in the developed world. It is efficiency built on trust, on the belief that a rested person is a better worker, a better parent, and a better citizen. Beyond oil, the economy is diverse and forward-looking. Maritime industries, aquaculture. Norway is the world's second-largest seafood exporter. Renewable energy. Nearly all domestic electricity is generated from hydropower. And a growing technology sector focused entirely on the green energy transition. The same country that extracted billions from beneath the sea floor is now positioning itself at the leading edge of the clean future. There is a concept in Norwegian culture called janteloven. It does not translate easily, but its essence is this: do not think you are better than anyone else. Do not raise yourself above the group. Do not boast. It can sound restrictive, but it creates a profound social equality felt at every level of Norwegian life. In the streets of Oslo, you would struggle to identify the wealthy from the comfortable from the modest. The same beaches used by fishermen in Nordland are used by executives on summer holiday. Social life in Norway turns with the seasons. In May, the country erupts. The 17th of May, Constitution Day, 17. Mai, is celebrated with a joy that is entirely, specifically Norwegian. Children march through the streets in traditional bunad, the national costume unique to each region. In the Hardanger Valley, it is embroidered with rose motifs in red and green. In Setesdal in the south, it is black with gleaming silver buckles. In Tromsø, it carries the colours of the north. In Bergen, the streets fill from early morning. Marching bands play, families wave flags. Constitution Day in Norway is not a military spectacle. It is a celebration of the people. Come winter, social life moves inward and upward. The ski culture of Norway is not a sport, it is a religion. Cross-country skiing, langrenn, is learned almost as soon as children can walk. Trails are groomed through city parks in Oslo and Bergen through the winter months. The forests of Nordmarka north of Oslo, and the mountains above Lillehammer, the city that hosted the 1994 Winter Olympics, fill every weekend morning with people of every age and every fitness level. Easter is Norway's great ski pilgrimage. Families converge on the mountains. The snow is still deep and perfect. And for 1 week, most of Norway seems to be somewhere high above the tree line, squinting into the brilliant spring light. Christmas, jul, builds slowly through December. Advent candles, gingerbread, mulled wine at market stalls in Bergen and Trondheim, bonfires along the coast at midsummer, their flames reflected in the still water of the fjords below. And running through all of it is the Norwegian relationship with community. The neighbour who clears your path of snow before you wake. The friend who drives an hour to help you move. The quiet, unspoken understanding that life is better when people look after one another. This is the social fabric of Norway, woven slowly, worn daily, strong enough to hold through anything. No country is without its difficulties, and Norway, for all its prosperity and beauty, has its own. The cost of living is genuinely high. A meal at a mid-range restaurant in Oslo costs what a good dinner costs in Paris or London. Housing in the capital is among the most expensive in Europe. Young people, even with the advantage of Norwegian wages, increasingly struggle to step onto the property ladder in the major cities. In rural areas, across Finnmark and Tromsø in the far north, and along the Nordland coast, the challenges take a different shape. Population drift, young people leaving for the cities, schools and hospitals consolidating. The feeling in some communities that the world is accelerating without them. The darkness carries its own weight. In cities like Tromsø, the polar night, mørketid, lasts from November into January. No sunrise. A few hours of soft twilight in the middle of the day, and then darkness again. For those susceptible to seasonal shifts in mood and energy, this is genuinely difficult. Light therapy lamps are as common in Norwegian homes as coffee machines. Even the beauty of the landscape comes at a price. Roads that close under winter snow, communities along the Helgeland coast isolated for days at a stretch. This is lived reality, and it demands a resilience that quietly shapes the character of everyone who grows up here. Norway is a country in constant conversation with its own past. On the streets of Oslo, that conversation is largely modern. Electric vehicles, Norway leads the entire world in per capita EV adoption, move silently through the city. Cafes are full of laptops and startup energy. Sustainable architecture rises above the waterfront. Young Norwegians are as globally connected and culturally hybrid as any generation anywhere in Europe. And yet, 100 kilometers north of Oslo, in a valley where the farmhouses have stood for 3 centuries, the modern world feels very far away. People here still keep animals, still harvest their own gardens, still know which berries grow on which hillside and exactly when to pick them. In Tromsø, these two realities coexist without friction. A world-class university researching astrophysics and climate science sits a short drive from communities still practicing traditional Sami crafts and seasonal rhythms that predate the modern state. The Sami cultural renaissance is one of Norway's quietly extraordinary achievements. Their language now taught in schools, their art and music recognized at the highest levels of national life. In the village of Flom, a small community nestled at the end of the Ålands fjord, the old and the new share the same narrow road. The Flom Railway, one of the steepest in the world, has carried passengers since 1940. Today, it carries tourists from cruise ships and local schoolchildren on the same carriages. Tradition and modernity in Norway are not opposites. They are different chapters in the same long story. And so we come to the final question. In a country where winters are long and dark, prices are high, and the landscape can be as isolating as it is beautiful, why do people stay? They stay for the air. Along the Lofoten Islands, on the coast of Vesterålen, at the edge of the Sognefjord, the air is so clean and cold it feels almost medicinal. They stay for what it carries. The smell of salt, the scent of pine after rain, the clarity of a February morning that wakes something in you that no alarm clock ever could. They stay for the silence. In a world that grows louder and faster each year, Norway offers something increasingly rare. the silence of a snowfield at dusk, the silence of a fjord in the hour before sunrise. They stay because of the trust. Trust in the government, in the healthcare system, in the education their children will receive, in the safety of the streets, in the community that will help when help is needed. This is the accumulated result of decades of social investment, of choices made consistently in favor of equality and long-term thinking. They stay because of the community. Because in towns from Kristiansand in the south to Kirkenes in the northeast, people still know their neighbors. Communities still gather around long tables when the snow is falling outside and the coffee is being poured for everyone who walked through the door. Norway asks something of you. It asks you to slow down, to go outside, to accept the darkness, to live with less noise. And in return, it offers something becoming harder and harder to find in the modern world. A life that feels like it means something. That is the life of Norway. Not perfect, not simple, but real and extraordinary, and built by people who chose, generation after generation, to stay. If this journey moved you, subscribe to Tour Guide. Every week, we take you inside the lives of places most people only ever see from the outside. One word in the comments. What does Norway make you feel? We'll see you in the next chapter.